Welcome to Your Property Radio. I'm Joel Malkin, and we have the founders of whatisashortsale.org here with us, Ray Noble and Anthony Krupe. Guys, great to be joining you again this weekend.
Great for having us back, Joel.
Hi, Joel. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. If it's your first time listening or your 20th time listening, we always like to start at the same place, just in case we have new folks tuning in. What is a short sale? So we throw that question over to Ray.
Joel, a short sale is when a property sells for less than the balance owed on the mortgage. Your bank will allow you to sell the property at current market value, which in a short sale is less than what you actually owe on the property. And this will help you and the bank avoid foreclosure.
And the short sale works if, obviously, you're facing foreclosure, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there are also other reasons for taking advantage of a short sale. If you're in the military, we know we've heard from, you've heard from seniors who were moving away. They were moving back up north, and
Yes.
They just didn't need the home, and they didn't want the hassle of, trying to put it on the market and deal with it themselves, and they took advantage of the short sale.
Yeah, there's a big misconception about short sales and people believing that they need to be late to do a short sale. That's actually not true. If default is imminent, the bank will accept a short sale in many cases. So as long as there's a good enough reason why you need to sell this property, whether it's an ailing family member or you're being relocated, because you're in the military or what have you, that also makes a good reason to have to short sell your property, and banks will agree.
All right. Moving on to another subject. I was thinking about this before the show, guys. I hear people talk all the time about loan modifications and how they basically failed for them. Who'd like to address that?
I'll speak about that, Joel.
All right, Ray.
Yes, a lot of people that we speak to, loan modifications for the hope of keeping their property is usually the first step that they try to do. In many cases, they are very unsuccessful. And we do encourage people to exhaust your options. If the loan modification does work to your advantage and you have the ability to save your property, well, then that's obviously the first step that we tell people to do. Especially if they do at some point determine that the short sale is their only option or maybe their last resort, so to speak. We do like that people, again, exhaust every possible scenario. There could be emotional attachment to the property. There could be many reasons. Because when you do commit to a short sale, you do want to be committed to the process. It will take every bit of 90 to 120 days, and you just want to be prepared. The problem is with the loan modifications, Joel, many homeowners that have tried to modify their home, they generally end up very frustrated because their bank gave them a modification that, although made sense for the bank, it didn't necessarily make sense for the homeowner. With the loan mod, typically, what happens is the bank will add the missed mortgage payments that you have on the property to the back end of the loan. And then what they try to do is they try to recast the loan over many more years. Generally, your 30-year note becomes a 40-year note, which is what I hear from a lot of homeowners. And they do this to try to keep the payment down. So, yes, you might see your payment go down monthly, but the length of your loan has been extended and the money is put onto the back end of your note. So when you sell the property or if you try to refinance the property down the road, you now actually owe the bank more than the original note and mortgage that you took on the property, from day one. So there are certain factors to that a lot of people are not aware of until they, already commit to a loan modification only to find out later.
That's why many people who have done loan modifications, they started doing loan modifications in 2009. Back then when they started doing these, they really weren't doing any. Now it's common or you do hear that people get principal reduction. So that does happen. But back then, many of these people that tried and did loan mods then, they didn't, like Ray was saying, it's exactly how they were handing out these loan modifications. So these people or homeowners were in situations where they've failed on the loan modification. Many people that we've talked to, I spoke to somebody last night, they've had 3 loan modifications. 3.
Wow.
The first loan modification, they told me their payment, they came back to them, it was higher than what they had originally were paying.
Yeah.
So, it's like, how is that supposed to benefit the person? So it's just a situation where you have people who really continued to try to save their home. It's now time to find a solution. And a short sale is a decent solution when you're in that situation. The problem is most people wait too long. And that's what causes issues.
And they become very frustrated with the process, with the loan modification, and they think that the short sale process will be just as frustrating, and they just throw their hands up in the air, which is the worst thing you could possibly do, and figure, I'll just walk away from the property. But the short sale property, believe it or not, is not as frustrating as the loan modification process. It's pretty cut and dry, the process.
And there are people, of course, and we've talked about this in weeks past, it is tough for them to say goodbye. And the short sale, I mean, let's be real, it is saying goodbye to the property.
Right. People are very attached to the property, and it's their home. I mean, this is something, and they've worked really hard, which is very unfortunate. They've worked really hard to try to make every attempt to save this home. And that's the part that's the most disheartening thing, that they've tried. And now they're stuck in situations that just don't make sense for them anymore. And now, the last thing you want to do after all that, I mean, would be get foreclosed on. So that's why, the short sale is a solution. And that's why the banks are promoting short sales. I mean, banks are constantly creating new programs, including the government created a program which we talk about often, is that HOFA program, to help people short sale their property when they want to.
And that's a program that ends, at least for now. It expires at the end of this year. Could get another extension. We don't know. Ray Noble, Anthony Krupe, they are the founders of whatisashortsale.org, a wealth of information there, including a how-to guide on short sales, free for you to download and check out. You can also get a property value report. We'll be talking all about that as well. They also have a phone number you can reach them at, 888-262-6933. 888-262-6933. Don't worry, we're not going to put you on the air, but you can give them a call this weekend or next week, and you can find solutions. Every situation is different, we always say, so feel free to give them a call again, 888-262-6933, or whatisashortsale.org. And we say the word free a lot on this show. We say this doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. This doesn't. And I know there are some I guess what you might call shysters out there in other kinds of businesses. But Ray is going to go ahead and straighten it out and why the assistance is free, and so that that sets your mind at ease and you'll understand how that works.
Yeah, it's a very big question that we always get. Obviously there has to be some benefit for people to help homeowners, and there is. Whatisashortsale.org is comprised of licensed title professionals, licensed real estate professionals that work with homeowners to help them facilitate their short sale with their bank. In a short sale, your bank will pay all the closing costs that pertain to the transaction, everything from the real estate related fees to the title related fees. The professionals that we work with do not charge the homeowner any monies up front, no monies during the process, no monies after the process. They get paid at closing from the bank, whether it be the real estate commission or the title insurance related fees. So, we really do take pride in what we do, in the sense that we put our best foot forward. We're very confident in the outcome of the situation by saying, we are only going to get compensated at the finality of the process. If for some reason the homeowner decides not to continue, they change their mind, there is no recourse to the homeowner as well. Nobody will ever bill a homeowner any monies for services rendered. It is just part of the day-to-day transaction for us, and that is how we participate in the process.
And let's be clear, one person that will charge, and you always talk about this, is a lawyer, so don't feel like a lawyer is doing anything wrong by charging you. They also do offer services.
No, absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with retaining an attorney. We've worked with a lot of homeowners that come to us after they've worked with an attorney, where they might be facing foreclosure. They don't have much time on their side, and they went to an attorney, and the attorney has helped them successfully, get the bank to give them ample time to get their affairs in order. The only thing that we do encourage people is that if you're working with an attorney, have a plan. The last thing you want to do is just to keep paying an attorney every month, and month goes by, and eventually the attorney can only do so much for you, and you don't have an exit strategy. You don't have a plan to say, well, after a certain amount of time, I'm going to possibly short sale my property or whatever other, your other intentions you may have, it is very important to have a plan if you are working with an attorney, because unfortunately there will come a day and a time where the attorney can no longer help you, and you might not have much time at that point again to react, and you could face a possible foreclosure.
Yeah, most recently, the courts have also, the judges, when they're seeing these cases, the foreclosure cases before them, they were typically extending the time frames, and most recently they have been electing to set trial dates. So again, if you're in a situation and now you have a trial date set and your attorney has not been able to postpone that for whatever reason, you have to be prepared to either go to trial or find a solution. And if you're not able to go to trial because there could be some financial expense to that or whatever it may be, then you need to present a solution to the judge. And a short sale can be a solution to show, look, obviously we're not been successful for whatever reason trying to save the property. We have decided at this point to maybe do a short sale, and we're going to start that process. And now all of a sudden, the judge says, okay, well, typically they give you the time to do that. So it's important that people understand that process. But again, it all comes back to what Ray is saying is planning accordingly. If you're not planning accordingly, you're going to be in that situation, and it's going to start to go by pretty quickly. And the last thing you want to do is not be able to avoid foreclosure if that's the situation you're in.
One of the things that's really cool that you have at your website, whatisashortsale.org, is a property value report. You can get this free of charge. I know there are other websites out there, national sites, that have free reports. This is a real property value report. It is conducted by real estate professionals in our community. They take your real property conditions into account. So very important you understand that. It is a free report. You go to whatisashortsale.org, put some information in. One of these guys is going to contact you or one of the folks that works for them, and they'll get a little more information, and you'll get that property value report. It's Ray Noble, Anthony Krupe. Ray to my right, Anthony to my left. With Your Property Radio, I'm Joel Malkin, and we're going to come back. You want to know what your property is worth because you may be underwater, you may not. And if you do owe more than your property is worth, there are some steps that you need to take, and Ray's going to cover that next.
If you're buying a home, you need to know about title insurance. Most home buyers don't realize they have a choice when it comes to title insurance. Shopping for title insurance can save you money, and it can reduce costs on refinancing, too. At Assure America Title Company, services have been designed to meet the ever-changing needs of their clients. Assure America Title's goal is to provide their customers with a quality and efficient title insurance service. They will provide a knowledgeable closer and will take the time to explain all the documents being signed. They will also provide a personal closing coordinator to act as your one point of contact, ensuring that a status update is always a quick phone call away. If you're buying a home, take the time to shop for title insurance. Call Assure America Title for a free quote. Call 1-888-348-7799. Go to AssureAmericaTitleInsurance.com. Click on the title insurance quote button on the right-hand side. Complete some quick info and see how you can save at your closing. Call Assure